I remember the day the world first whispered my name in fear. I wasn't born a king, I was born hunted. I turned the steppe into my throne and my enemies into dust. I united tribes that hated each other and broke empires that thought they'd last forever, carving scars into history that still bleed. They call me a monster, but only I can tell you the truth of how I became the man who changed the world forever. This is The Immortals, where legends never die. Subscribe and take your place in the ranks of legends. History remembers my conquests, but it forgets the silence before the storm, before armies rode under my banners, before kingdoms trembled at my shadow. There was only a boy buried in the ashes of his own world. To understand the empire I built, you must first understand the wilderness that shaped me. I am Temujin. I was born on the Mongol steppe, one of the most violent environments on Earth. Here, winter can freeze a man in minutes, and a single mistake can wipe out an entire family. If you grew up where you live now, imagine surviving without houses, crops, or walls. Only horses, tents, and the strength of your clan. That was my world. My father, Yasuge, was a respected leader of the Borjigin. He arranged my marriage when I was 9, as was normal among the tribes. But on his way back home, he accepted food from the Tatars, an old enemy of our people. They poisoned it. He never reached our camp alive. Do you know what happens to a family when its leader dies in the steppe? You lose protection, you lose status, you lose food. And in our culture, a clan doesn't carry dead weight. The Taichiud, who were supposed to support us, abandoned my family and took our herds. For a nomad, losing your animals is like losing your home, your income, and your identity all at once. We survived on roots, rodents, and anything we could trap or chase on foot. Sometimes the only warmth we had came from the embers we guarded like treasure. Nights were so cold that even the water inside our tent froze solid. Hunger wasn't a feeling. It was a constant threat. But those years turned me into something different. I learned to track animals by broken grass patterns, to read wind direction, to judge distances on horseback without thinking. I understood the alliances and rivalries between clans long before most boys understood basic survival. And by 12, one truth was already carved into me. On the steppe, justice has no value unless you have the strength to enforce it. If you were in my place then, no father, no clan, no security, what would you have done to survive? Most people break. I didn't. Those years created the instinct that defined my future. No one would ever control my fate again. Bekter was my older half-brother, strong, proud, and convinced that age alone made him superior. After my father died and our clan abandoned us, the little food we found was the difference between living another day or freezing to death that night. In those conditions, every piece of meat, every handful of berries, every rabbit mattered. Bekter began taking food before the rest of us could eat. He didn't steal out of desperation. He did it because he believed he had the right. And on the steppe, taking food from your family during famine isn't a small offense. It's a threat to survival. One person's selfishness can kill the weakest, then the next, until the entire family collapses. Ask yourself something. If you were starving and someone stronger than you started taking the only food your family had, how long would you stay quiet? Kassar and I warned him. He ignored us. Day after day, the same pattern continued. My mother, Hoilun, said nothing, because even she knew the situation was tearing us apart. In our culture, a family that can't control itself becomes vulnerable, and vulnerable families get erased. So we made a decision most people today would never even imagine. We waited for Bekter outside the camp, bows ready. He understood what was happening the moment he saw us. He didn't beg, he didn't fight. He only asked that we spare our youngest brother, Belgutai, who had followed him. Then we killed him. 2 arrows, no ceremony, no shouting. To someone living in your world, this might sound like madness, but on the Mongol steppe, leadership wasn't measured by age or birth. It was measured by who could protect the group. Leaders had to be willing to make decisions that others were too afraid to make, even if those decisions cut deep. That day taught me something I never forgot. A leader who avoids hard choices destroys everyone under him. A leader who confronts them, no matter the cost, keeps his people alive. If you were in my place, what would you have done?